Women often ask the same questions in the Aligned Homeschool Reset session with me. Very similar questions about their kids, about their reactions to their kids, sometimes about why they feel lost inside a life they chose. I hear often that she's surprised to hear that she's not the only one asking these questions. She's not, and neither are you. The questions that keep homeschool moms up at night, the ones that you might not have said out loud, are almost always the same questions. Oh, how I wish I knew that while I was homeschooling, not after my homeschool years. This summer, my goal is to answer some of them in 7 podcast episodes through the lens of 7 different books, 7 questions that deserve a deep dive answer. So let's get into it. If we haven't met, I'm Teresa Wiedrick, a homeschool life coach, graduated homeschool mom, and host of the Confident Homeschool Mom Podcast. I've been in this home education space for over 2 decades, first as a mom doing this work every single day, and for the last 6 years as a coach sitting with the women who continue to do this work of homeschooling. Here's what I know after all of that. The questions that keep homeschool moms up at night are almost always the same questions. So this summer on the Confident Homeschool Mom Podcast, I decided to address 7 of them directly. 7 questions that I hear homeschool moms asking out loud every single week. Here they are. The first question is, why do I keep reacting the same way to my child? And is it actually about them? Probably, right? Or is it about me? Because I kind of wonder. This one comes up in virtually every coaching series I have. And can I be straight with you? After 2 decades parenting and homeschooling myself, I can tell you that those reactions, your reactivity, it's about you. It's not usually your child. Not really anyway. What looks like defiance is almost always a collision between 2 completely different core motivations, yours and theirs. And once you unpack that and understand a little more what's really going on, what their core motivations are and what yours are, when you understand your own wiring and your child's, that's when you can begin to stop taking it personally. You start getting curious instead of feeling hurt and reacting in ways you don't want to. That's what The Road Back to You by Ian Morgan Cron and Suzanne Stable does. It is the warmest, most accessible introduction to Enneagram that I've read, and it will change how you see yourself and every person in your home. You can find this episode on the Confident Homeschool Mom Podcast, and you'll find it in the link up here. The second question, is the way I talk to my kids making things worse? And how can I actually incorporate healthy communication? How do I learn the skills? I spent years talking at my kids instead of with them. I didn't see it then. I wasn't intending to do that. I was intending to be a good mother, but I've come to understand that correcting and redirecting and explaining, and I wondered why nothing seemed to land. In Marshall Rosenberg's work on nonviolent communication, he gave me a completely different framework to see communication. It's not just for how I speak to my kids, but for how I listen to them, how I hear what's underneath the behavior instead of just reacting to their behavior. If your homeschool feels like it's full of friction and you can't figure out why, then this episode will be for you. The next question usually revolves around the frustrations she's feeling and how she's not able to enact the life that she wants. So, what are the mental habits that you can build in order to create a strong homeschool mom life? How do I get there? So this episode really isn't just about homeschooling. This is about the personal mental habits that are making your whole life harder or easier. Amy Morin's work identifies the patterns that keep us stuck: self-pity, resenting other people's success, dwelling on the past, giving away our power. And what I see in coaching is that homeschool moms are particularly vulnerable to several of these because we carry so much and we ask for so little help. This episode is practical and it looks at what gets in our way of feeling mentally strong as we do this homeschool mom life. Now, a quick pause here, because if any of these questions are landing for you and you're not sure where to start, I want you to take the Homeschool Overwhelm quiz. It's a free tool that helps you identify exactly what's driving the overwhelm in your homeschool mom life, so you know which of these conversations to start with. Find the link in the description. Question number 4. Does my child feel truly seen and understood by me? And do I even feel seen myself? Jody Carrington is a child and family therapist who writes about connection in the most disarming, honest way. And her central argument is that kids don't need us to be perfect. They need to feel seen. And that was probably true for you when you were a girl too, right? Here's the part that lands most for me, though, and the part that I keep coming back to again and again in coaching. How can we help our kids feel seen when we ourselves have never felt truly seen? This episode goes there, and it is one of the most important conversations I think homeschool moms can have, because the connection you have with your kiddo is directly connected to how you felt seen too. Question number 5. What does it actually mean to let my child lead their own learning? Alison Gopnik is a developmental psychologist and one of the most important voices in the conversation about how kids actually learn. And her central idea is this: a carpenter shapes wood into a specific, predetermined form. A gardener creates the conditions for growth and then trusts what emerges. Most of us were taught to be carpenters. We came into homeschooling with a vision of what our kids' education should look like. And sometimes that vision gets in the way of what our child actually needs. After 2 decades of home educating, I can tell you that the moment I trusted my kids' curiosity more than my own to-do list, that was the moment that real learning began to happen. This episode is about learning to do that on purpose. Question 6. Why do I feel like I've lost myself in this homeschool mom role? And how do I find my way back? This is the question underneath so many other questions. You begin this journey with such intention, but somewhere along the way, between the lessons and the trips to town or the trips to extracurricular activities, the sibling conflict, all the chores and housekeeping that needs to be done, the continuous needs of everyone around you, you lose the thread back to you. I know this from the inside out. I spent years giving everything to everyone else and believing that what was left was enough. It wasn't. The work of coming back to yourself, figuring out who you are outside the homeschool mom role, how you speak to yourself, what you actually need and want, that is some of the most important work you will ever do. It certainly was for me. And this work isn't just important for you, because every single person in your home will benefit. This episode is drawn from my own coaching work with homeschool moms. And if it resonates, I want you to know there is an entire coaching course that reads like a book or listens like a podcast built around it. It's called Stop Losing Yourself: The Homeschool Mom's Guide to Boundaries, Confidence, and Calm. If you're curious, check out the link in the description. And the 7th question is, why do I feel like I'm constantly in conflict with the way my life feels right now? Tara Brach's work on radical acceptance hit me hard. I was not expecting this the first time I read it, because I realized how much of my homeschool life I had spent in resistance. Resisting what my kids were doing, resisting what wasn't working, resisting who I was in the hard moments, wishing everything was different than it actually was. Radical acceptance is not about giving up or lowering your standards. It's simply about stopping the war with reality long enough to see things clearly. And from that place of clarity, you get to decide what the next right step is. In coaching, I see this pattern continuously. Women who are so busy fighting what is that they have no energy left to build what could be. This episode is about making that shift. So 7 questions, 7 books, 7 episodes on the Confident Homeschool Mom Podcast this summer. And here's what I want you to hear underneath all of that. If you've asked yourself these questions, it means that you care deeply about your kids, about your relationships, and the life you're building. And I can tell you that the women who ask these questions are the ones who grow. They choose it. They want to see clearly. They're the ones who make a shift, the ones who look back on their homeschool years with gratitude, not regret. You are already doing that work. These books and these episodes are just here to walk alongside you. Here's how you can go deeper, though. First, if you are not sure which of these questions to begin with, take the free Homeschool Overwhelm quiz. It'll help you identify exactly what's driving the overwhelm in your homeschool mom life, so you know where to focus first. The link is below. All the links are below. Second, if you want to talk through what's coming up for you personally, book a free Aligned Homeschool Reset session with me. It's a no-obligation conversation where we look at where you are, what's feeling hard right now, and what might need to shift. And I'll introduce you to an opportunity to move away from the things that are challenging. Third, every Wednesday morning, I send the Homeschool Mama Book Club newsletter. It is reading that will restore you, a warm reflection drawn from the books that we are exploring in the Homeschool Mama Book Club. There will be journaling prompts and takeaways that you can use practically. You don't have to read that book. You can give yourself permission to just show up on a Wednesday morning and read the book club newsletter. You can sign up for free. And if you want to be in the room where these conversations happen live, join us in the Confident Homeschool Mom Collective. We meet every Friday. Your first Friday is completely free. Find the Confident Homeschool Mom Collective on Patreon. Oh, and hit subscribe so you don't miss any of these episodes this summer. And if you know a homeschool mom who's carrying one of these questions, why don't you share this video with her? It might be exactly what she needs today. I'll see you next week.